Queen Marchesa versus Muldrotha, the Gravetide. Yeah, this hand isn't horrible, so we'll keep that. Go into a turn 1 command tower. Doubt we're going to be using Swords to Plowshares on turn 1, but you never know. Our commander, Queen Marchesa, Death Touch Haste 3/3 for 4 mana. When it enters the battlefield, you become the monarch. At the beginning of your upkeep, if an opponent is the monarch, you create a 1/1 black creature token, assassin creature token with Death Touch and Haste. Our opponent going for a turn 1 Rhystic Study, which is, yeah, that's not preferable for us. Then we'll just hold up Swords to Plowshares for 2 mana. If our opponent is just going to sit behind Rhystic Study, that's not the worst thing in the world. We can play around it. I was going to yield to the Mana Crypt trigger. And our opponent does get bolted there. Yeah, so our opponent's commander is kind of like a graveyard style deck, just playing from the graveyard, basically dumping the hand and the library into the graveyard. A Wayward Swordtooth will allow our opponent to play out a lot of lands from their hand. They did have an extra land, and they can crack this one at the end of the turn as well. Yeah, so Muldrotha just wants to load up the graveyard, play things from the graveyard, pretty much using the graveyard as an extension of their hand. During each of your turns, you may play up to 1 permanent card of each permanent type from your graveyard. So whereas Kess, the Grixis commander, would care about instants and sorceries and things like that, Muldrotha cares about permanents, creatures, artifacts, things of that nature. Now, I'm not sure. We have a Muldrotha, not a Muldrotha, a Queen Marchesa next turn. We may have a Muldrotha next turn as well. So I'm not sure if we hold up mana for the Swords to Plowshares or if we try to Demonic Tutor for something. I think we just hold up the Swords to Plowshares, because I'm not sure what it is that I want to tutor for currently. Maybe an Austere Command. When we get into the mana for that, we can let our opponents play out a lot of permanents and then wipe them out with an Austere Command. Get rid of that Rhystic Study. Maybe just go for enchantment removal, I'm not sure now. And Tatyova, Benthic Druid, that's a commander that we play on this channel. The commanders that I have up on the channel, I may well pack to exile that actually, to keep away the card draw. Yeah, the commanders that I have on this channel, they're all in their own playlists. So if there's ever any commander that you're solely interested in, you can just go through the playlists and just watch all the videos I've done of those specific commanders. Okay, now we can get Muldrotha out. I keep saying Muldrotha, Queen Marchesa, our commander, we can get out. But it will mean our opponent getting a Rhystic Study trigger. I think we'll do that. We need to we need to get into something here. And the sooner we get the monarchy in play, the better. I think this thing only becomes a 5/5 when they have 10 permanents in play. They have 4, 5, 6 currently. It can't attack or block, so I might as well get in for some free damage here. And then we draw into Lightning Greaves at the end of the turn. And our opponent doesn't get bolted again. So with Queen Marchesa, what you really want to do is get into lots of answers for your opponent, which ironically we're not actually drawing into currently. Lots of hand disruption. Each opponent sacrifices a creature. Is that what that is? Yeah. I'm not too worried about that, to be honest, because we already have the monarchy now. Our opponent isn't likely to wrestle that off us. Each opponent discards a card. and then put a target creature card or planeswalker from the graveyard onto the battlefield and do, well, that's not going to do anything either. I may well, I think I might just sit back and let our opponent just do whatever he's doing. Doesn't seem to be doing a whole lot, same as us to be fair. I think I'll just go for the O-ring on the Rhystic Study here. Always yield to the Rhystic Study trigger, and we will pay for it, and we will get rid of that Rhystic Study. Now we'll have to be careful casting Austere Command, because if we wipe out enchantments we will basically just get rid of our Oblivion Ring and give it back to give the Rhystic Study back to our opponent. Drawing to an Arena Rector. Arena Rector is very good in this deck because we have 7 Planeswalkers, I think it is. And there's a kind of token sub-theme going on. Do we want... I think we can get rid of Lightning Greaves. Yeah, our opponent isn't making use of any targeted removal. That's not to say that they don't have any. But, yeah, I think I'd rather just get rid of the Lightning Greaves there. I'm going for a Satyr Wayfinder. Good way to get some cards into the graveyard. And they ditch a Cyclonic Rift, which is fine with me. They can always get it back with something like an E-Witness. And Diligent Farmhand. Sacrifice it, search your library for a basic land. If it's in the graveyard... Oh, I've never seen that card before. Okay, and how many permanents is our opponent up to now? That's 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and this will be 10. So our opponent will be able to get the Monarchy off us now, and they'll have City's Blessing for the rest of the game. So we may well go for a board wipe with the Demonic Tutor now, and it will mean our opponent still having the Monarchy for an extra turn. But I don't think there's much else we can do currently. And then our opponent will be able to get a creature back with the Saga enchantment there. We'll see what we draw into anyway before we make any decisions. So this is what happens. Our opponent, whoever deals damage to the person with the Monarch, gets the Monarchy. And then at the end of the turn, the Monarchy triggers and you draw a card. And so you want to have the Monarchy, well, for every turn during the game, preferably. But what happens is your opponent will deal with your creatures, they'll get through. This is where Queen Marchesa is so good, because she can start spitting out Assassin Death Touches, so that your opponent doesn't want to swing in, or they don't want to block yours when yours come in, and you get the Monarchy back. It's kind of it can turn into a bit of a brawl in that regard. Yeah, I think we go into a Demonic Tutor and then some kind of board wipe here. Like I said, our opponent will just get a Wrath of God. Our opponent will be able to get back a creature from the graveyard with that Saga, but they already have a creature in the graveyard anyway, so it's not like we're giving them any particular value. So what we'll most likely do is just get Queen Marchesa down next turn. Or we could maybe, yeah, really depends on, we could get a Monastery Mentor and the Bastion Protector, and then play Queen Marchesa the next turn. Although playing Queen Marchesa, that's another little trick you can use. You don't have to deal damage to get the Monarchy back when you have Queen Marchesa in your command zone. You can just recast Queen Marchesa and you'll become the Monarch just from having her enter the battlefield. Our opponent casts a Slum Reaper, or they get that back with the Saga. And when it enters the battlefield, each player sacrifices a creature, so our opponent will have to sacrifice that immediately. Not sure why they did that. They could have had the Wayward Sawtooth back out, and that would have been 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. I'm not sure if the City's Blessing and the Monarch emblems count as permanents on the field. I think technically they are in the command zone, so I don't think they count as permanents on the battlefield. I'm not too sure about that, but I think that's right. Okay, and our opponent is going to kill the O-ring there, are they? Is this what I think it is? Sacrifice it, reveal... Oh no, reveal the top 4 cards. Okay, I thought that was some kind of enchantment removal. Opponent going for a perpetual timepiece. Put the top 2 cards of your library, so they're really going hard on the self-mill action. And you can shuffle any number of cards from your graveyard into your library with that also. But we haven't actually seen Muldrotha yet, so don't think we're at any particular risk of... yeah, our opponent's going to draw off that Monarch trigger, so they've gotten 2 cards off that thus far. Now, Queen Marchesa will cost... I'm going to shock in the Badlands, the Blood Crypt even, just because I want to show our opponent that we might have a path to exile. Hopefully our opponent doesn't counter this. Okay, so we get the monarchy back. And yeah, I think I don't mind swinging in here, because I don't think in a Muldrotha deck our opponent is likely to have any hasty creatures or anything like that. They might put down a Lightning Greaves or something, but so be it if that happens. We'll at least get an assassin creature token from the deal. Yeah, so next turn I think we have Bastion Protector is a very underrated card. I think it gives your commander +2/+2 and indestructible. It's only 3 mana, plus it's a 3/3 body itself. So for 3 mana, and then we could get down the Arena Rector. Arena Rector, when it dies, you can exile it, and if you do, you search your library for a Planeswalker card and put it onto the battlefield. Okay, our opponent going for a Fleshbag Marauder, so they deal with Marchesa again, but they will have to kill their own Fleshbag as well, so we at least get to keep the Monarchy this time. Although having said that, now I think we'll play the Monastery Mentor instead, because the sooner we get that out, the more spells we cast after it's entered, the more monks we get. And we have a couple of Planeswalkers in hand, so we'd like to start getting into those now. Okay, and Oust is not terrible. Okay, yeah, so I think we'll go for the Monastery Mentor. And then into the Arena Rector. And we'll just pass the turn at that. Our opponent did say at some point, I missed that, our opponent did say at some point that they misclicked, and there's our austere command, so that's good to have in hand. Yeah, I'm not sure when our opponent misclicked there, I did miss them typing that. Surprised we haven't seen Muldrotha yet. They're going really hard on the self-mill plan, but I don't know, they might have a Living Death or something like that. Some kind of mass reanimation spell. Opponent does have 4 cards in hand. Okay, there. We have the Muldrotha. And our opponent's holding up 2 mana. So what could they do here? They could get the Vessel back out. Stitcher's Supplier. Okay, 3 mana now. So there are quite a few things they can do out of the graveyard with that. Okay, and they go for the Wayward Sawtooth, so that is a 5/5. And I'm not totally against our opponent swinging in with that, because we can get the Arena Rector with that. And probably go for something like Elspeth, Sun's Champion, something like that, so we can actually clear these two off the board with Elspeth, Sun's champion. But we'll have to see how the game plays out from here. I think we'll just go for an oust on Muldrotha, and that will also get us a monk token. Monastery Mentor left unchecked will really go off. Yet another card that you don't see many people playing, and it's a very, very good card. I think it's played in Modern or maybe some other Eternal formats. I don't really follow those, but I think I'm right in saying that it does get played in those. And I think we'll go for a Chandra as well. And start getting some elemental tokens out. And so this was a bit of a sketchy game for Queen Marchesa. What you really want to do is control the beginning parts of the game with hand disruption and targeted removal and things like that. Get Queen Marchesa out, get control of the monarchy, and then we'll only get through for 3 damage here, but that's alright. The main thing was getting Chandra out. Yeah, and then doing things like this with planeswalkers and tokens and things like that, and we'll gain incremental advantage from the monarchy itself. We of course have to exile those at the end of the end step. Drawn into a Dismember as well, so we're getting some of these targeted removal spells now. Dismember of course is -5/-5, so that will deal with the Wayward Swordtooth. And Muldrotha will cost 8 for our opponent now. So that is 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. So our opponent can recast Muldrotha if they please. And they do have a land. Yeah, they have a couple of lands in the graveyard as well. Okay. That is a means of bouncing a creature back to our hand. And this might be something that our opponent wants to get rid of Arena Rector with. No, they're not sure. This is Seal of Removal. It's an enchantment for a single blue, and you can sack it to return a target creature to its owner's hand. So you can save your own creature with it. But the main thing is that you can keep replaying it once a turn from your graveyard with Muldrotha. Okay, so opponent going for Muldrotha. And I don't know if they'll sack the Seal of Removal to bounce the Arena Rector and then swing in with Wayward Swordtooth so that we don't have something good to block with. I think that's what I would do. Okay, Stitcher's Supplier. When it enters the battlefield, you put the top 3 cards of your library into your graveyard. And it's a 1/1 zombie. Our opponent cracking the Terramorphic Expanse, just fixing the lands. And, okay, yeah, going to destroy the Monastery Mentor, which is, I mean, it's already replaced itself with 2 creatures, so that's not the end of the world, to be honest. I'll be more than happy for our opponent to swing in with the Wayward Swordtooth here. But they wisely choose not to do that. Okay, get the land drop on for the turn. And I think what we'll do here is get down Gideon. And then force our opponent to swing in to Gideon. It may well mean that they use Seal of Removal. So do I actually want to do that, or not? I can deal X damage to each creature with Chandra and kill her off, and that'll get rid of most things. What to do? Could burn 2 spells, use the Dismember and the Lightning Helix, and then minus Chandra and keep her on the field. I think I don't mind doing that, to be honest. So we can deal 3 damage to this, get prowess triggers on the monk tokens, and then dismember, and we can still get Gideon in play doing this now that I think about it, on Muldrotha, and pay 4 life, and I did just pay 1 mana for that, so Modo is being funny again. Muldrotha, 1 life, 1 life, black. There we go, and it did it this time. Sometimes the cards can be a little bit funny with the way you cast them, but yeah, you can usually get around it. You just make liberal use of the control and Z button. Now we have to -2 on everything, or I should say deal 2 damage to everything. So we also get to kill the Arena Rector this way, and we keep our monks in play, so great value for us. Returning Muldrotha back, which is fine because we at least get to kill all the rest of our opponent's stuff and kill our own Rector. And when it dies, our opponent mills 2 as well, or 3, I think that was. Yes, we want to use the Arena Rector. And I think we do just go for Elspeth's Son's Champion here, because these soldier tokens start really going out of control, and especially when we're just sat behind the monarchy, it's very tough for our opponent to get back from it. And if our opponent does get haste onto their creatures here, then they'll have to attack Gideon. They have to attack him if able. And we've buffed up the monk tokens quite far here also, so I think we'll be quite close. Okay, yeah, our opponent scoops it up. We would have been, we would have put our opponent at 1 damage with the 2 monk tokens, and then they would have had to deal with 3 planeswalkers and whatever else we decided to play. So it wasn't looking promising from our opponent. Not the best showing from Queen Marchesa, but it does showcase what the deck's supposed to do. You're supposed to control the early game, and then with your targeted removal and discard and all those types of things, and then get into planeswalkers, tokens, just draw more cards than your opponent and do more stuff, basically. So that is Queen Marchesa. There's more coming from her. I am taking note of who's getting the best views and who's getting the thumbs up and all that type of thing. So if there is a commander that you want to see more of, be sure to thumbs up and comment on how much you like that commander. It'll show me which commanders to put more time into and which ones to lean back further on. But failing that, I hope you enjoyed the video. I hope you enjoy all the videos, and be sure to hit like and subscribe if you see a commander that you like. Okay, I am tribalkai on the EDH channel. I thank you all very much for watching. It's very much appreciated, and I'll see you in the next one. Thank you.